We are mucus-free. 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 We are mucus-free.
What's going on, brothers and sisters? Welcome to yet another episode of the Mucus-free Life Podcast with yours truly, Professor Spira. And welcome to my new set. And I got a nice little outfit on. Hope you like it. And we have my participation trophy over here. And again, I thank all of you so much for helping me get this, as this represents a whole lot of people learning about the Mucus diet healing system and this lifestyle that otherwise would not have. And over here we have, instead of a thermostat, we have Mucus diet healing system, annotated version. And how are you all doing today? How has as Decorah sometimes calls it, the hella-day? How's the hella-day been for you? Hopefully it has been well and hasn't been too much eating of things that are unkind to your body. And whoever's in the chat, go ahead and say what's up. If you're on the blog and you don't see a chat there, you might have to, if you want to chime in and talk with the chat, you have to click that link, come over to YouTube. Something was up with that particular link on the mucusfreelife.com. I don't know what was going on with that, but come on over and chime in. If my audio ever gets strange, please let me know in the chat. Let me know if you can't hear what's going on. And what's going on, we got a Facebook user from Atlanta. Welcome. If you want your name to be shown on Facebook, you have to go to, there's a link down below. I don't have the link handy real quick, but there's you have to go give permission. If you look Facebook restream permission, that page would come up. And Sarthak, what's going on? How you feeling? Christina, what's going on down there in Florida? I look forward to making it back down there very soon. I love me some Florida. USA 1292, also from Florida. What's going on? Vadim, what's happening? Working through the hella-day while eating some apples. Beautiful. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, indeed. And of course, today I have been fasting. I like to fast I fasted on Thanksgiving, and I like to fast on this winter solstice energy. I know we're a couple days beyond that, but it's all good. Nothing but mucusless eats. We're all till 4. We say mucus free till 7. And so made it without too much damage. What's going on from Australia? Yes. My man Afro Music fasting here as well. And I commend everybody with whatever you were able to do, because this is a challenging time of year for many of us. The hella-days, they get you into this it's like being in hypnosis from Halloween. So you're celebrating death and dressing up like death, and having great love for the wrong type of immortals, the Dracula and the vampires. Those have a pale white face person that can't go in the sun, that drinks blood, that doesn't die without certain procedures. You have to kill them in a certain way. And so we have that day. Then we lead into the Thanksgiving. Then right after that, we try not to get trampled on Black Friday. And then all through December, everybody's, we got to get the presents, get this and that. Oh, I got to eat. No, let's go over here. And it's just this whole delirium thing. Oh, I'm getting out of school. I'm doing that. It's just this whole roller coaster of stimulant-based emotions all over the place, the pus-based emotions. And then we have the 25th of December, and there's all these other things happening from the Kwanzas and the Hanukkahs and the Christmases and the this and that, bunch of things happening. And then a few days later, we can go get drunk and we can get excited about a new number that really doesn't have anything to do with humanity in real life. It's the number. These are just some kind of arbitrary numbers that were developed, and not the only ones. The was 2023, 24. We could, what about 1,536,026? I can just make up a number of what it could be. We were set for right now, 2023 going into 2024. We can deal with those numbers so we can function here in Babylon. But it's just so much stimulation. When you take the pus and the mucus eating out of it, your experience of this time of year totally transforms. It is unlike anything. I've been there. I know what it's like to go through this in the pus and the mucus based mentality and experience, and the highs and the lows and the emotions and getting angry and, oh, I love everybody. And it's this bipolar experience that many of us have. And when you get a whole group of people that have that, the ups and the downs and this and all that kind of stuff, it can get deep. And then you go and folks are eating, you get the big spread, and you can see if you don't eat what everybody else is eating, you can see the entire vibration, the entire sort of consciousness just shifts. And it's, if you've ever been in some place where you're not drinking alcohol, but everybody else there's drinking and everybody's just getting drunk, and the vibe of that, it's like the whole vibe changes. And when you're not in that vibration, then you stick out. It just feels weird. And that becomes part of this situation. And so that's what I try to do, is help people through that, to say, look, how do you deal with that? How do you handle the family obligations, what appears to be obligations in the holiday time and this kind of stuff, or, and those are some of the kinds of things that we talk about we have a new private social platform that you'll be hearing a lot more about next year, the Mucus-free social. And I'll be doing some information on that, but it's our very own social media platform that has an app and you can log on and just free and clear, no Facebook in sight, no corporate advertising or social media. No, it's ours. We are ours. And so you try to give each other some nice support. And that's also why I did this live stream, to say, hey, I know some of you are out there and you're out there in the thick of it. And I was like, maybe you could use some encouraging words from Professor Spira while you're out there trying to deal with this day in this time of year, and looking around and thinking that everybody seems to be a little insane. It's just a little off. You can come here, just get a little bit of rational vibration, or at least that's what I hope to share and hope to provide. Okay, we got 7 years plant-based. All right, beautiful. And Afro music said you got to keep the balance of all the death around. And that's the thing. We exist in a death culture. From when we're born, everything seems to revolve around this obsession with death. And we got our Halloween, then we have Thanksgiving, all this death all over the table, and we act as if it is some kind of love and, oh, it's love and family, but there's a dead animal that's on the table. Is like is a sacrifice, and then everybody eats it, and that sacrifice had feces in it. It's weird, but no, that's then again, whatever people are eating in December and today, it's rough. But this, we have to live the change. What do they say? Be the change that you want to see in the world. And so that's what this is all about. You just got to do it, because you can't wait for permission. There's not going to be any co-signing of Dr. Oz or whoever the famous doctor is and Oprah. And like, we ain't going to get that. That's not this. Like, we're not going to have that type of co-signing, because too many people of that stature co-signing to this. There will be a lot of people that are getting rich that will no longer have a job. And I'm talking about a whole lot of doctors and a whole lot of, morticians. There's a whole lot of people that would be out of a job if enough of humanity started going in this direction. So that's going to happen slower. It's going to happen, but the transition is going to be a bit more gentle, because there's a lot of folks aren't ready. Just honestly, a whole lot of folks are not ready for this information, but you all are. And so I'm very happy that you are here, and we can get into talking about my favorite thing to talk about on these days, which is the mucusless diet healing system. And as you saw with the title, today we're going to be talking about Immaculate Conception. Now, I didn't say the Immaculate Conception. It's just Immaculate Conception. So this is not a religious discussion. I'm not getting on to all that. We're going to deal with the concept of Immaculate Conception and why you should be thinking about it, how this could transform not only your life, but the life of your entire bloodline, transform the trajectory of your entire future. If you value the blood, if you value your blood, if you start to understand that your blood is everything, your blood plus breath is what keeps humanity moving forward. But what are we doing to our blood? Are we living in a way that allows us to exalt our blood, to really earn the blood that we already have, that we've inherited? Or do we squander the opportunity? Do we just take it for granted? Oh yeah, I'm breathing. I got blood. Where's my turkey? Where's my Salisbury steak? But as a very influential person once said, they know not what they eat. Actually, I said, that's actually what I said. This is a variation of, they know not what they do. They know not what they eat. And because they know not what they eat, they know not what they do whatsoever, and have no clue what they're doing to their body. They have no clue what they're doing to their mind, their spirit, and to the rest of humanity. Every bite of turkey, every bite of chicken, every bite of hot dog, every microwaved meal is degenerating your greatest asset, which is your blood. We've been given something far greater than gold and diamonds and platinum and rings and earrings and all these things that are supposed to be so valuable. The most valuable thing on this planet is the blood running through your veins. And what do? You put pus in your body. You put mucus all in your body to the point where we're losing everything. are losing our intellect, our ability to think clearly, our ability to function properly. Don't be mistaken when you're those handful of years where you have the overstimulation and you're a little younger and you can go run around and do all this stuff. That's short-lived. That's very finite when you don't take care of your physiology. There's not a whole lot of people in their 80s and 90s that are jumping into mosh pits, but they would if they could. If they hadn't aged themselves physiologically, they'd love to have some stimulation and go jump in the mosh pit still. But Mother Nature stepped in and said, no, we're not going to keep playing that game because you continue to break natural laws. And as you break natural laws, you will prematurely age. It's that simple. So the blood is everything. And what the mucus diet healing system does is, on a fundamental level, clean your blood. Clean and transform your blood. Now, what kind of effect? How do you think cleaning your blood might benefit conception? How might cleaning your blood and your partner cleaning their blood before having a child, how might that influence the life of that child? What kind of human might be created? People, there's the classic piece of Wizard of Oz, go on all this journey all over the world and the universe. You can do your out-of-body travels, go check out the Akashic records. You can do everything. You can do all of that. But at the end of the day, what are you coming back to? A body with blood. And the legacy of that blood, like we have such a small little narrow view of like history, like, 10,000, 20,000 years. That's some kind of big deal. That's nothing. The blood that runs through your veins was here before and it's going to be here after, but we just take it for granted. And in the mucus diet healing system, in the section and we're going to talk about today, lesson 24, the section on sex part 2, we get into talking about humanity, the potential to have children or a child, like the mechanics. What does it take for two people to have a child that doesn't know what illness is, that will never experience the runny noses that I grew up with, the ear infections that I had to deal with, that's not going to have lymph nodes getting all weird and tonsils messing around and threatening to take out appendixes and all that. What if you could give your child that type of gift? Because in this day when everybody's people will literally get trampled or trample other people to get a toy for their child. You will risk your life that way for material things because you think you're showing your child love. Will you fast for 6 months before conception? If it meant ensuring that your child never got sick, never had to experience the pain that is so commonplace amongst our young people today. What are you willing to do for your bloodline? There's so many people that are so selfish and self-centered in the raw food movement, fruitarian movement. Every time I listen to them talking, they're just focused on themselves, their self, and I'm not hearing a larger vision. Now, maybe they have it, but I hear about being fit and perfectly fit and physical fit. I don't hear about the cleanliness that can transform nations, the level of cleanliness that can transform species. Who's talking about that? Wouldn't you like to be a part of transitioning Homo sapiens to Homo spiritus? an elevation, or you want to be part of this. Now, I don't show that. I'm not here to make fun of this. Connects a little bit to some of what Arnold Ehret talks about in the mucus diet healing system. This is a popular, you can watch, there's a documentary, I think Soft White Underbelly has done a lot of things here. But this is the Whitakers, an inbred family. But what I see when I take a look at these folks is, for me, it's not funny. It's sad. And I want nothing more than to be able to give them a copy of the Mucus Diet Healing System. And I would love to see, man, if we had a facility or something, like, I would love to see, they would never probably agree to it, but I would love to take some folks in this kind of condition and let's clean up their bloodline. Because I bet that I could take these folks there who are not in the best shape, if we're being fair, okay? And they can clean up. Fruits, green leafy vegetables, enemas, you can clean up this blood. They're still breathing. They still have blood and they're still breathing, which means that there's still a chance. The thing is, what people don't understand is this very well could be the future of all of humanity. Anytime when you see a deviance, it's a little different from everybody else. Sometimes I like to think about what about the timeline where everybody was in that condition? And there was a popular movie, Idiocracy, that people like to talk about. But it appears, when you really look at what's going on, when you can really see, this one thing, when you can see the kind of damage that the daily eating of pus and mucus does to a person's body, mind, and spirit within a short period of time, how eating that way for about 10 years degenerates and ages to a certain extent. Another 10 years, when you get to 30, 40 years in of eating like that, no cleansing, no nothing. And it's unbelievable when you know that there's another way, when you know that you didn't have to have the McDonald's and the Burger King and all this kind of stuff. And of course, in these videos with these fine folks, we get a chance to see what they're eating, and they'll share a meal, and it's pus and mucus, not a whole lot of fruits and vegetables going on. This is the guy that has the document, Soft White Underbelly. So they want to blame everything in terms of the condition of these folks for inbreeding. And I guess, I don't know the family tree, but I don't need to. It doesn't matter, because I know what they're eating. That's the factor. That's the piece. What are they eating? It's not fruits and green leafy vegetables. As we say, we got work to do, because we could just as easily, huge pieces of humanity, which are already just, the level of degeneration is just, it's out of control. But it's a physiological thing. Yeah, everybody wants to blame the wrong stuff. They want to blame everything but diet. They blame, it's the educational system, it's the government, it's the president, it's this, as opposed to it's pus and mucus eating. The eating of pus and mucus forming foods, which is diametrically opposed to nature. We're not supposed to eat like this. It's just, and we're going to suffer the consequences when we do. So let's get into the section, today's reading. And this is the annotated Mucus Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret, annotated, revised, and edited by yours truly, Professor Spira. So the section that we're interested in today is sex part 2. But so let's deal with this word eugenics really quickly. So this section is called Motherhood and Eugenics. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So the term eugenics was coined in 1883, along with the adjective eugenic, by English scientist Francis Galton It is an analogy of ethics, physics, etc., from Greek eugenes, or well-born, of good stock, of noble race, from EU, meaning good, plus genos, meaning birth. Anytime you say that gen, the gene, genesis, genius, anytime you see that gen, we're talking about birth, or it's related to birth in some way. The term is associated with the biosocial movement and philosophy advocating the improvement of human hereditary traits through promoting higher reproduction of most desired people and traits and reduced reproduction of less desired people and traits. Propagators tended to believe in the genetic superiority of Nordic, Germanic, and Anglo-Saxon peoples, supported strict immigration and anti-miscegenation laws, and supported forcible sterilization of the poor, disabled, and immoral. Professor Arnold Ehret uses the term eugenics to make a philosophical point about the potential for developing an improved race of humans through the mucusless diet healing system. For many modern readers, this term is off-putting due to its historic association with racist and genocidal policies. Of course, Ehret wrote this text well before the climax of radical eugenic policies in the United States, where it was at first, and by Adolf Hitler in Germany. Yet Ehret's beliefs about a so-called superior race of people are diametrically opposed to the white supremacist mentality that was the foundation of most eugenic programs. Ehret's proposition is that what we identify to be race, which is accepted today as a socially constructed belief system and not a biological fact by most scientists and academics, is a physical expression of the degree to which one's organism is overcome by mucus and toxemias. In other words, the darker you are, the more mucusless you are. This perspective is in line with scientific findings that reveal Homo sapiens to be a tropical frugivorous species, or fruit-eating species, that has its origins in equatorial Africa. Ehret is not using the term in a bigoted way insofar as he proudly speaks of his skin becoming darker while doing long fruit fast. On the other hand, he says that he noticed that his skin became lighter after eating even one piece of bread. Thus, from Ehret's perspective, skin color is not based upon how close an organism lives to the equator or on the production of melanin, what Ehret refers to as mineral salts, but is based primarily on the amount of uneliminated waste the body contains on a cellular level. In sum, Ehret's use of the word eugenic is quite unique and different from many of his peers. Today, terms such as genetics, natural selection, evolution, etc., may be more politically correct labels to make the kind of points that Ehret is espousing. Essentially, it is a survival of the fittest argument, whereby the fittest humans are those that live in accordance with natural laws and eat a mucusless diet. So just to deal with that, because the term eugenic scares people, because they're like, oh, what's that? And you're talking about, we got to get into the historical context, get into the actual meaning intended by the author, and you can have some clarity. So let's get into this. Motherhood and eugenics. Motherhood with a mucusless diet before, during, and after pregnancy is the development toward the Madonna-like holy purity principle, different from the dangerous so-called ordinary childbirth with its ever-present risk of life known in our present civilization. If the female body is perfectly clean through this diet, the menstruation disappears. In scriptures, it is called by the significant word purification, which it in fact is. It is clean and no longer polluted by the monthly flow of impure blood and other waste. We're going to talk about it. Hold on a second. We'll get to it. I know. I hear you. This is the ideal condition of an inside purity capable of, quote, Immaculate Conception. When seen in the light of this truth, the entire Madonna mystery is easily understood. Every one of my female patients reported their menses as becoming less and less, then 2, 3, and 4 month intermission, and finally entirely disappearing. The latter condition was experienced by those who went through a perfect cleansing process by this diet. Okay, so let me pause there real quick. I'm not saying that young women and all of you women that you have to get so clean that you will never have your menstrual cycles again. And that's a little bit beyond this discussion. But the point here is, in the experience that has been of many women along this path, is as they get cleaner and cleaner, they remain fertile. They're perfectly capable of having a baby, but the rate at which the eggs are released and those eliminations go is altered, is changed, and it's slowed down. Now, I will be having some experts on the podcast very soon, starting next year. We're going to have Sister Decorah is going to be coming on, and you can hear it from her. And we're also going to have Brother Khalid, who's raised a mucus-free family. So we'll be talking to him first part of next month. So you're not to hear it from me. You hear some of this stuff from them. But again, go from a philosophical level, go on this journey. Go on the journey of cleanliness, because we don't know. We know that the other direction isn't working. The Whitaker's direction is not working. The 32 feet of impacted intestines is not working. The increased colon cancer and lung cancer and heart disease thing is not working. So you can't go to the gym thinking that you're going to do all this extra work. And then people have already tried that. There's people that work out in the gym all day, every day, that still get heart attacks in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Being able to do a squat and push a barbell doesn't mean you're healthy. You might be fit, but you ain't healthy as long as you're eating the pus and the mucus, and your colon has 32 feet of toxic slime and little worms running around in you and parasites. Headaches, toothaches, vomiting, and all other so-called diseases of pregnancy disappear. This leads to painless childbirth, an ample sufficiency of very sweet milk, babies that never cry, babies who are very differently clean as compared with others, are the wonderful facts I have learned from every woman becoming a mother after having lived on this diet. You got to do it to know that. It's like, we can read this. You got to do this. You got to aspire to do this. It's not enough. That's an interesting idea. That's a nice little philosophy, huh? You got to want this and have this as the friend. It's so much deeper than I want to look good in my bathing suit. And that's what I was talking about earlier. That's the kind of selfish thing that a lot of folks in this arena have, where they're thinking about, I want to look good. I want to do this. As opposed to thinking, I want to have a child that is incapable of illness. I don't want to mess around and have a child that, if I can help it, that has some kind of cancerous situation coming out of the womb. Do you think that you would put yourself in a better position to avoid that, eating apples and oranges, or eating the rotting carcass of an animal that cried as it was being slaughtered, that let off all of these fear reactions and hormones into its body, and then you get to eat that flesh, and then you wonder why you're having panic attacks and your endocrine system is gone and out of whack? Cause and effect. It is not advisable to start a radical change in diet during pregnancy or during nursing, This should be done at least 2 or 3 months before conception. And I'm saying do this 2 or 3 years before conception. Do it 6 months before conception. Do it as long as you can before conception. Clean yourself up. That's why we're talking about this, a lifestyle. Make the lifestyle change. Get yourself cleaned up and be ready. Be ready to give the greatest gift that you can to your bloodline by giving your, take all, like I said, all that energy, all that. I don't want to go buy them all the video games, want to do all that. Put all that energy into cleaning yourself up now. Not so that you can go look good on the beach and you can go show off to your friends, but so that you can try to have as perfectly clean of a child that doesn't suffer as you can. What better gift can you give than that? Eating for 2 with a special diet is unnecessary if the body is clean. Modern babies are overfed, hence these dangerous childbirths. The only reasonable change is to increase the eating of natural sweets such as figs, raisins, dates, grapes, etc. There we go. Feeding the baby. If the mother's milk is found to be insufficient or bad, do not use plain cow's milk. Can't believe we still have to even say that in 2023 going into 2024, and people still think that cow's milk is something, or just animal milk in general is something for humans. I can't even have that conversation. There's other people that talk about that. I don't have time for cow's milk. Come on now. That's ridiculous. It should be diluted with at least 1/3 or 1/2 water. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip a little bit. The baby's craving is sweet and proves that fruit sugar is the essence of all dietetics. Do that test. If you get some children, some really young children, and on a table in front of the children, put a bowl full of cherries, a bowl full of strawberries, some cut up pineapple, and then some raw fish that you got right out of the river. Some raw fish, a liver, maybe. Put a cow liver there, and some raw beef or something. Put some intestines and see which one the children go for. Are the children going to go for the intestines like a true carnivore would? Because a true carnivore, they don't cook the intestines. They eat the intestines with the feces. They want the feces. If you're a real carnivore, you don't remove the feces from the intestines. That you eat, that's for you. But now if you have this thing where you feel repulsed by that, then chances are you're not a carnivore. Chances are you're not an omnivore. You're not supposed to eat that. And children know that, because sitting there with all of that in front of them, they're going to go, I can guarantee you, I'll put some money on it, they're going to go for it. I better not even say that, because then Liver King or something, well, my children. Okay, no, if you brainwash your children and poison your children with pus, then yeah, they can adapt, but for a period of time. But no, we're talking about regular children. They're going to go for the strawberries. They're going to go for the pineapple. They're going to make a face at the fish and be like, I don't want, they're not going to want the fish. They're not going to want the liver. They're not going to want the intestines. What is considered a well-fed and healthy-looking baby of average normal weight is in reality pounds of waste or decayed milk. Let's see. Let's skip just a little bit. As stated before, if a change of this kind in the baby's diet is made, they must be healed first, whether sick or not, cleansed from the waste of their latent disease. This is the point that everyone refuses to believe, realize, or understand. The young person's body, so if the baby hasn't had a conscious parent or parents that clean themselves for years before having them, then likely they are going to go through eliminations. They'll get sick, but it's eliminations. but their body is in general much more capable of withstanding intense elimination in those first 7 years, to the point where a lot of that, they can eliminate so much. If they have parents that are conscious, that know how to do this, they can eliminate so much pain and suffering in that 7 years. So here's our opportunities. You have the parents that can spend as long as they can cleaning up their blood, cleaning up their seed and eggs in their body. But if that doesn't happen, then the first 7 years of that child, you can expect to see some intense elimination. And parents often get scared and they start trying to do all kinds of suppress the elimination, which then makes it worse and more chronic. But that first 7 years, the baby's body, the temperature can get real high and it's okay. And this isn't medical advice or any kind, whatever, just talking. But babies their temperature can get pretty hot and it's like they're going to be all right because their body is ready. Is okay. It recognizes, let's do this now. Let's clean this stuff up now. There's so much chronic illness in the world because parents didn't know that. They went and got drugs to suppress the elimination. I had to go through so much initial elimination when I started the diet because I grew up taking suppressants almost every day of my life. Allergy suppressants, taking all kinds of drugs that's supposed to stop the mucus production and to dry me out, and Nasonex and Allegra and all this stuff from a very young age. So it wasn't until I started practicing the mucusless diet where I actually gave my body an opportunity to go through an elimination that wasn't stopped through chemical means. But again, it's levels of consciousness that we're talking about. This isn't rocket science and all that. This is real human consciousness, the real thing here of what can we really do? What's in our control? See, a lot of people focus on stuff that's totally out of their control. Who cares? Biden and Trump and Kennedy and this and that. That's not going to help your bloodline. Sorry to say. You can get all into the weeds of this and okay, let me go vote for that and this. Did you do your enema today? If you complaining about all this stuff out here, or you complaining about your health, or you want a future for your children, you're like, man, I really want to, and you're trying to go get somebody on the school board and vote for the right superintendent and all this kind of stuff. When if you really want to create children that are going to live a healthy, disease-free life from the beginning, then this is what you focus on. And again, not so you can go look hot at the beach and be cute, do all that, because you want to create something better than yourself. Why don't I hear people talking like that? Where's all those YouTube videos with all the raw food folks and the vegans and all these people? Who's talking about that? Do this work for something more important than you. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to put in the work to create something better than you? Or are you just worried about you? It's just all about you and you getting yours. As opposed to, why don't you dedicate your life as is mandated by the universe? This isn't by nature. I guess I'm the messenger since no one else wants to say it. What else is there to do? You want to go play video games? You want to do virtual reality? What? When you talking like that, that's so adolescent and silly when you start talking about having the potential to create a godlike being. And there's a lot of parents that think their child, they look at their child and they see the God in that child. Then what do? Here they come with a little piece of burger. Put the burger in its mouth. Here's some ice cream. Here's a little candy. And you destroy the godhood of that young little being. This stuff seems pretty important to me. but it's like an afterthought. They ain't worried about it. They just whatever. And like, what's the song? Oops, I did it again. They just have a baby. It's not planned out. It's not, I'm okay. Let me fast for a few months. Then let's fast. Let's do these enemas and clean ourselves up. Then let's get down to the business of making a god. How about that? Nah, we'd rather watch Maury. We'd rather watch Judge Judy and Maury and have delivered pizza and sitting on the lazy boy watching Maury, not cleaning ourselves up so that we can try to be a vessel for something so much greater than what we could ever be. And it's sad that there's not more there's not more people talking like that and thinking like that. It's like this waste of time and space and energy. Everybody running around with all these this value system and all these things that's so backward, 100% occupied and taken over by straight pus and mucus type of drama. All the drama, the tragedy that comes along with living a life diametrically opposed to nature. Eugenics of a diseaseless superior race. Using a plant as a comparison, motherhood can be said to represent the quality of the soil. Fatherhood represents the quality of the seed or the germ. A relatively poor, almost barren soil, but a good quality of seed produces a fairly good plant. But a defective seed, even though planted in the best soil, will produce nothing. So there's a little message for the brothers out here. Brothers, I'm talking to you real quick. You need to clean yourself up, man. This is ridiculous. You're squandering your opportunity for what? There's a lot of time and energy being wasted on what? When you need to be getting yourself clean. You need to be cleaning out your butthole. Get rid of the mucoid plaque. Get rid of all of the future disease of your future children. Or you can go down the Whitaker path if you want. Is that what you want? You want to run that risk of having some children that suffer when you could have did more. You could have put more effort in and then not had to watch in despair as your child suffered. That's on you. And then, no, it's genetic. It's just, how do you think the genes and the genetic, how do you think that degenerates? That becomes obstructed. Vitality equals power minus obstruction. Breeders of animals, especially horse breeders, know that the quality of a thoroughbred father goes through endless generations, even spanning over a chain of indifferent mothers. This is why inheritance of good and bad qualities skips a whole generation. Is this the right? Yeah. As in every aspect of life, this problem is different also. And of course, is different in the case of a clean body on a natural diet. Medical doctors and naturopaths alike will hardly believe at all in the new principles and arguments which I have brought out and postulated in this work. They reason and argue with the facts and experiences of the filthy body living on the unnatural diet of civilization. So much of what they say is healthy is based on eating pus and mucus. Let me get my blood test. All of those metrics are based on people eating pus and mucus, are based on degenerate human, not a perfectly clean human or halfway clean where we're trying to go. So we got as Eric says, a new physiology. You have to scrap all that and we starting over again because again, it's not that their thing is not working. If their thing was working, then maybe you could consider, I don't know, because a lot of people, they want to dib and dab. They want to have a little bit of that. There might be something in some of these nutrition theories and this, they want to have a little of that and then a little of this. And I guess I'm the radical voice of saying, I want to have none of that. And let's try all of this. Let's give this a try to see, because that thing ain't working at all. As in every aspect of life, this problem is different also. And of course, is different in the case of a clean body on a natural diet. Medical doctors and naturopaths alike will hardly believe at all in the new principles and arguments which I have brought out and postulated. I just read this already. You cannot reason about colors with a person born blind. You cannot use an old argument and the old physiology to refute my statements. Can't use the old physiology, the old ways of thinking about the diet. You're not going to be able to have useful explanations and discussions based, and you're trying to rationalize eating horse meat or eating cat meat or dog or whatever meat, and cow or whatever the meat is, trying to rationalize that as being healthy for the human body. There is no discussion that can be had there. Until you have personally experienced on your own body the truth of my teachings, you will have to accept and believe the new ones. Realize, please, what this means. Superior fastings as they were taken by the prophets of old. During a period covering some decades and even partly today, the science of eugenics believed in the necessity of outside breeding. They consider outside breeding as absolute necessity for animals and the human race based on bad results which accrued from inbreeding of humans. So we looked at our buddies, the Whitakers, and you see what happens when you have degenerate blood coming together with equally or more degenerate blood. You will create humans that are where the degeneration is ridiculous, like just on down. And so this gets into the controversial little section of Eric. I'm not necessarily going to get into that in this discussion. That's more a little private. That's for the private discussion a little bit. But it's interesting. That's more of an advanced discussion to get into some of that. Where is the quote that I'm looking at? Here's again and again, diet is everything. Humans are what they eat. Are not all geniuses, great men, inventors, and greatest artists of every kind born of poor parentage? Let's see, it gets into, where is that? There's a particular quote that, oh, there it is. Got to go back. I don't want to miss this. So this last little section here, so I'm going to highlight this. Thousands of mothers unconsciously through overeating practically kill their children before they are born. Here then is the only and correct way to fight infantile mortality. There is no higher moral duty of any kind than to produce a perfect being. I'm going to read that one more time because I'm pretty sure you didn't hear it. There is no higher moral duty of any kind than to produce a perfect being. Now, what does it mean to have that desire, to want to create and aspire to create a perfect being? Now, when that becomes your guiding light, your lemon juice and distilled water enemas are not just so you feel better. It's so that your future bloodline can feel better. If it is indeed our baseline and a law of the universe that we feel good, and there's so much, everybody has their opinions on what to do to feel good, to feel at peace in your body without stimulation. There's a lot of people, in order to feel good, they need something from outside of their body. In order to feel good, they need their morning coffee. They need their supplement. They need their cigarette. They need their weed. They need a little drink of alcohol. They need some Tylenol. They need a little morning quickie. They need something outside of themselves to feel whole. But what happens if you have two people that already feel whole and two people that feel whole and are more whole than most, and those two people come together what kind of child is that going to produce? This has to be a goal. This has to be something that people aspire to. And that's what I'm saying. I don't see people with that kind of foresight, with that kind of desire. Because all I hear is, I want to lose some weight. I want to get over this ailment. I want to feel better. Not I want to feel better because by me feeling better, I am going to be more capable of creating a perfect being. It's still feeling good. It's trying to feel good. But now you have a reason to feel good. Not feeling good for the sake of feeling good. Because that's how you get trapped in you can feel good going down this path, but you can have temporary feeling good with some cocaine or some heroin or some puff of cigarette, whatever. Yeah, you can have feel good a little bit at the expense of your health. But if you have a higher goal, a higher path that you're trying to get to, now you are feeling good because you're going to transfer that feeling good. Who's at peace in their body without stimulant? Because that's the thing. Really look out into the world and look at how stimulant is the center of everybody's life. And we go from one stimulant to the next without having that moment of just being calm. And now we got the cell phone mess. On phone, stimulation, then off to the next. We get some coffee. We check my email. Let me check my messages. Okay, let me get some Coke. People still drink Coke and Mountain Dew. I can't believe y'all. That's silly. But anyway, get a drink of Coke. Back to the phone. Then watch television with the phone in your hand. So you got TV on. Judge Judy's in the back. Still on the phone. You're texting somebody. Then you get a hot dog out, eating a little hot dog, or get a little, junior bacon cheeseburger. Revolves around pus-based stimulant. That's what we talk about. Like pus-based stimulant is different than the kind of experience of, let me go make some fresh juice. That's a stimulant. Yeah. Make some fresh fruit juice. Drink that. Let me go get some fruit. Let me cut up some fruit. Let me go make a salad. Still stimulant, but not pus-based stimulant. Whole different world. And the good news with those stimulants are they're not going to destroy your physiology and destroy your body. And so there is no higher moral duty of any kind than to produce a perfect being. What are you trying to build? Are you just trying to fit in to what somebody else built? Or you want to truly build something incredible, something that is on the level of worthy of being called human? Because most of what's out here is not at that level. It sinks right below where you would really want to give it the human label. What do you want to do? What are you prepared to do to prevent this? What would you do? Breaks my heart to see unnecessary suffering in beings that do not need to experience this because of unconscious adults. These children, if they weren't exposed to Happy Meal, all of this advertisement, all of this fake weird candy stuff, if they were brought in to this world, given fruits, green leafy vegetables, clean their colon out when needed, they'd be perfectly happy. They're not missing anything. Now, I've talked to so many young parents that knew a little bit about the Mucus' diet, that had a little consciousness, and they would tell me they would even themselves eat decent. But when it came to their children, they didn't want their children missing out. They didn't want their children to miss out on the birthday celebration, on the cookies that are passed out at school, or the Halloween candy. They want to make sure that their child can participate, but at what cost? Of course, not everybody's child goes through this level of illness. But what if you could take actions now that would ensure as much as you are capable of to prevent this reality? Fruits and green leafy vegetables are a little more important when through this lens. Your inspiration is a little more solid. Your attitude is a little more steadfast when you have the right, and I say right, in my opinion, when you have a higher consciousness and a higher goal. And this has been part of my path where these things that I share on here sometimes that are shocking or that go get people like that, for a long time, part of my journey has been to confront the worst of humanity and the worst, the most painful, the saddest, to confront that and process it, not to run away from it, not to try to ignore it, not to try to come up with philosophies of that's their karmic path and journey, and I'm over here with my at the New Year's party. It's like there's a way to deal with this so that you're not wallowing in depression and feeling guilty or anything like that. You have to understand why this happens. When you understand that the foundation of this happening is because of what humans are putting into their body, that this is not normal. This is not how humans are supposed to experience this life. This is the culmination of decisions. And at this age, decisions that parents made. Because the sad thing is, what are they feeding these young people? Most of this is all stock images. Is that for any child is in a hospital, does this look like a meal of healing? Is this a godlike meal for a godlike being? I guess was that an avocado? From young right to the old, with no understanding in between. And it is a frustrating thing as I grew up and I did that, of wanting to know why the suffering, why the sickness, why the suffering. And I was blessed to get the answers that I was seeking as to why. So there is no there is no secret. Now we know exactly why. We know exactly what produces this condition or these conditions. And there's one way out, in my opinion. And I'm saying elevate your consciousness, your values, and strive to create a perfect being. Give your bloodline the gift of cleanliness. Because every time I go through some kind of troublesome elimination, that's what I think about. I'm thinking like, whatever the I don't go through that much like elimination like I used to, but when I'd be going through it, if I was blowing my nose or whatever's going on, and I'm letting the body do its thing, for years I've known that consciousness, like I've always understood from the beginning that down the road, this is something that I'm gonna pass on so that my children don't have to go through. I'll go through it now. I'll go through as much pain and suffering as I can in the form of elimination to absolve my bloodline of the sins of our forefathers. That's pretty elevated as far as taking on. That's the old tradition, the tradition of a figure that could take on the sins of those they came into contact with or those that they associated with. You have that ability, but you got to know it. You got to know you have that same ability through your bloodline. Take on and eliminate the sins of the forefathers so that your progeny don't have to deal with that. Isn't that a gift? Isn't that a gift? Drinking milk. That'd be one. Milk. Whatever. Similac. All this mess. What we've done, because humans have degenerated into such a condition where having a child is an emergency, is a medical emergency. Having a child is not supposed to be a medical emergency. And I don't want to hear about your European ancestors that lived to be in their 30s that mostly died in childbirth. Not talking about them. That was a different timeline. That was a different level of degeneration. We got to go back further. We got to go back to the African mothers that could be working in the field. It's time to have a baby, go pop a squat, have the baby, and then keep working in the field. What kind of vitality are we talking about? We're not talking about this. We're not talking about a medical emergency to have a child. We're talking about, again, cleanliness, clean humans. But they've convinced us somehow that this is normal. Yeah, if you're eating McDonald's and pizza delivery, this is perfectly normal in that world. This is the result of that. Can you not see that? Can you not put the two and two together? McDonald's equals suffering baby. Burger King equals suffering baby. Papa John's equals suffering baby. Sometimes that'd be like, what is wrong with you people? I just want to, can you not see it? What's not clear about that? Why is there a disconnect? I shouldn't even need to be talking about this. Why are we still at a disconnect? Going into 2024, you can't see meatloaf equals suffering baby. Parents eating pus and mucus equals suffering baby. What are we doing here? Do you love your offspring or not? I want them to experience. I love the definition of chaos as unnecessary process, unnecessary suffering. When you know better, how many people that's watching this live themselves have overcome skin issues just by changing their diet, just getting off of dairy, getting off the meat, skin issues that they had from birth goes away. And this trauma then, it's not only the physical, but now this level of trauma has to be dealt with on the emotional level, and don't even know why they're feeling bad. They could have all the trappings and all the great things in their life of the Western world and the material belongings, yet they still feel horrible. They still don't feel whole. They feel depressed. They feel like not wanting to be here anymore. I don't think I can use the S word without the S word. The numbers of people not wanting to be here and taking action on not wanting to be here continue to raise. Why? Is it mental illness? Is it genetic? Is it society? Is it the government? Is it mind control? Is it something in the water? Is it the chemtrails? Is it what you're eating? Why do we want to blame everything except what it really is? See, they know not what they eat. I grew up eating that. I'm fine. Carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy. Whatever problems you start having physiologically, you have a child and you could be feeding them the same stuff that you ate growing up. It's probably going to be worse because it's the food just degenerates anyway. But even if they ate the exact same diet as you, they will not live as long as you because they are a degenerated version of you. But if they change their diet and you change yours, hopefully too with them, they take a different path, then maybe they can outlive that. They can outlive you and that dynamic and that rule. What the heck? Milk and cookies for sick kids. See what I'm saying? They want me to start cussing. They want me to get really mad, don't they? Because I try to keep, I know children watch a show. We try to keep things nice and But that makes me real mad. Like that kind of stuff. When corporations get in just that level of consciousness, because I know how much this is unnecessary. This is a way of thinking. This is a way of life. It's, so we got some sick kids. Oh, let's get hot cocoa. Let's get them some chicken noodle soup and some cookies. What is this? A whole movement? Milk and cookies for sick kids? Hold on a second. What in the world? What in the world is this? In an effort to help kids in the hospital miss home a little less, Sick Kids is launching their annual Milk and Cookies campaign. We're showing our support by serving up a delicious treat, warm chocolate chip cookies with vanilla ice cream for $12. All proceeds from this dessert will be donated to Sick Kids. Not real sick kids, the organization Sick Kids. So treat your kiddos or yourself and enjoy our delicious take on milk and cookies anytime from November 14th to December 31st. This is how humans create hell of their own invention. We create these environments as an expression of that which is inside of us. And these hellscapes that are plentiful in different manifestations all around the world, this is there. This is it. This is the explanation. This is why. This is it. Sick Kids. We're out of the kindness of our heart. We've created an organization to give milk and cookies to sick children. There's $41,177 for the OSMH Foundation Smile Cookie. And where's it? Tim Hortons. So we give the Smile Cookie. We got our frozen yogurt and all the garbage at a Tim Hortons. Tragedy of nutrition. Tragedy of nutrition. So what are we going to do about it? What I'm going to do when I get off of this live stream, I'm going to do my second lemon juice and distilled water enema for the day. That's doing my share for cleaner air, trying to do my best to clean myself out before having the most immaculate conception that I can have, or that I can be a part of, that I can contribute in, because that's how this world is going to change. This is the kind of consciousness. This is the real reconstruction that we have to go through to create a new level of human that can experience and truly enjoy being in their body, not trying to constantly leave their body all the time and with drugs and alcohol and sex and this and that and food, but that truly is at peace in their body without stimulant, without cookies, without cake, without ice cream. We got work to do. We got work to do. But for me, I'm thankful that I'm here to do that work. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I have that gratitude. I'm thankful that somebody was willing to tell me about this path. They didn't have to. And I'm thankful that I was in a place in my life where I was capable of grasping how deep and important this is and how world changing this is. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to connect with all of you and to share what I can, what little information and knowledge I have. I want to share it. And I hope that people can benefit from it, where I hope that we can avoid the experiences that we just saw, that we can avoid humanity going down the Whitaker's path. We can head it off. There's so much unnecessary suffering. I just found this. Can't play the video or I get like a copyright, but there's always these different YouTubers that go to places where there's a lot of homeless and a lot of just rough parts of the world, and they'll talk to people, and folks are on the street strung out on drugs and that type of thing. And again, I check these things out because I analyze it, because I see the solution. I can see it. See, that's the thing. Can you see it? It's not that I'm saying it, but I can envision, because I know the power of it's. Oh, you're not. I'm not sure. I know the power of this information, and this isn't even one. Some of these are like those ones in Philly where everybody's on that trank. This one is, but then people start trying to pick fights, but this is the logical conclusion of the choices that humans are making. That's when whatever the city, because people want to blame the wrong stuff. They want to blame, oh geez, here's one, the most obese city in America, I guess. And he went to partake to see what they all were eating. But in these places where a lot of folks, they drive around in the wheelchairs, and for me, it's important and useful to see the extremes, to see where it can go in that direction and to see where it can go in the other direction, to understand that there's a lot of people that are stuck, that's stuck over here in this kind of reality that don't have to be, that really could transform their life and clean themselves up. Bizarro world indeed. That is exactly what we are dealing with. If anybody has any questions for me, go on ahead. You can shoot them in the chat there. See what's Brady saying. You shall love thy neighbor, and you do perhaps, but you kill your own child, partly at least, before it is born. Right. Yep. Hey, what's going on, Chantel? See, how you doing? So the one thing I thought about doing was reading. So this is an excerpt out of, so this is in Spira Speaks, but I'm quoting another work, something called the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 1. And I'll just, to preface, I'll say that this excerpt is from the Essene Gospel of Peace, translated by Edmund Shigley. Can't say his name. There's a fair amount of controversy surrounding this text and the nature of its authenticity. Some believe that the healing abilities of Jesus are due in part to his knowledge of fruitarianism and fasting as the omnipotent healing modality for humankind. There are a handful of books that offer fruitarian versions of other biblical characters, such as the Essene Gospel of John, which portrayed John the Baptist as a fruitarian. Some people believe that the writings were constructed by Shigley and raw foodist activist Johnny Love Wisdom to promote fruitarian consciousness. Others say that much of the breatharian and fruitarian consciousness that was found in original versions of the ancient theological text were suppressed or eliminated during Constantine's assemblage of the Bible. I do not know the true nature of their origins, nor do I feel it is particularly important. I view the work as a great piece of literature that does allude to universal healing laws, one of the few to do so this explicitly. With that said, clues that point toward humans' fundamental fruitarian nature may still be found in modern Bibles, such as Genesis 1:29. Then God said, behold, I've given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed, it shall be food for you. The New American Standard Bible, 1995. Just with that quick intro, let's see, this is in volume 2, chapter 4, baptism. So we're going to talk about baptism real quick. And so, as I said there, this is not, take this as a story that I'm not claiming that this is anything other than a story. You read Alice in Wonderland, that's a story that you learn. There's some principles in there, something you can learn. You read Wizard of Oz, there's something you can learn. Peter Pan, there's something you can learn. Brer Rabbit, there's something you can learn in the story. So I'm not claiming it to be, I don't know its origin, I don't know who wrote it or where it's from. It's a good story that has some important information, and it uses characters that people know about from other places. Just put it like that. All right. And Jesus said, quote, after the angel of air, seek the angel of water. Put off your shoes and your clothing and suffer the angel of water to embrace all your body. Cast yourselves wholly into his enfolding arms, and as often as you move the air with your breath, move with your body the water also. I tell you truly, the angel of water shall cast out of your body all uncleanlinesses which defile it without and within. And all unclean and evil smelling things shall flow out of you, even as the uncleanliness of garments washed in water flow away and are lost in the stream of the river. I tell you truly, holy is the angel of water who cleanses all that is unclean and makes all evil smelling things of a sweet odor. No man may come before the face of God whom the angel of water lets not pass. In very truth, all must be born again of water and of truth, for your body bathes in the river of earthly life, and your spirit bathes in the river of life everlasting. For you receive your blood from our earthly mother, and the truth from our heavenly Father. Think not that it is sufficient. Think not that it is sufficient that the angel of water embrace you outwards only. I tell you truly, the uncleanliness within is greater, but by which than the uncleanliness without. And who cleanses himself without, but within remains unclean. See, we need to really think this is good. It's good stuff. And he who cleanses himself without, but within remains unclean, is like the tombs that outwards are painted fair, but are within full of all manner of horrible uncleanlinesses and abominations. So I tell you truly, suffer the angel of water to baptize you also within, that you may become free from all your past sins, and that within likewise you may become a pure as the river's foam, sporting in the sunlight. In other words, as the old adage goes, you can't put lipstick on a what? You can't put lipstick on a pig and think, oh, this is a clean, beautiful being. Might be a beautiful being from a certain point of view, but you're not cleaning it up by putting putting a little lipstick on. But we got now it's gotten extreme now. Now it's not just a little lipstick and some face paint. Now we're doing shots into our lips and butt shots and surgeries, and come on. Seek therefore a large trailing gourd having a stalk the length of a man. Take out its innards and fill it with water from the river which the sun has warmed. Hang it upon the branch of a tree and kneel upon the ground before the angel of water, and suffer the end of the stalk of the trailing gourd to enter your hinder parts, that the water may flow through all of your bowels. Afterwards, rest kneeling on the ground before the angel of water, and pray to the living God that he will forgive you all your past sins, and pray the angel of water that he will free your body from every uncleanliness and disease. Then let the water run out from your body, that it may carry away from within it all the unclean and evil smelling things of Satan. and within it all the unclean and evil filling things of Satan. And you shall see with your eyes and smell with your nose all the abominations and uncleanliness which defiled the temple of your body, even all the sins which abode in your body, tormenting you with all manner of pains. I tell you truly, baptism with water frees you from all of these. Renew your baptizing with water on every day of your fast, till the day when you see that the water which flows out of you is as pure as the river's foam. Then betake your body to the coursing river, and there in the arms of the angel of water render thanks to the living God that he has freed you from your sins. And this holy baptizing by the angel of water is rebirth unto the new life. For your eyes shall henceforth see, and your ears shall hear. Sin no more, therefore, after your baptism, that the angels of water, of air and water, may eternally abide in you and serve you evermore. And if afterwards there remains within you aught of your past sins and uncleanlinesses, seek the angel of sunlight. Put off your shoes and your clothing and suffer the angel of sunlight to embrace all your body. Then breathe long and deeply, that the angel of sunlight may be brought within you. And the angel of sunlight shall cast out of your body all evil smelling and unclean things that defile it without and within. And all unclean and evil smelling things shall rise from you, even as the darkness of night fades before the brightness of the rising sun. For I tell you truly, holy is the angel of sunlight who cleans out all uncleanlinesses and makes all evil smelling things of a sweet odor. None may come before the face of God, whom the angel of sunlight lets not pass. Truly, all must be born again of sun and of truth, for your body basks in the sunlight of the earthly mother, and your spirit basks in the sunlight of the truth of the heavenly Father. Can I get an amen? Who's talking about that? Now we're talking about some real, you want to talk about spirituality. Clean yourself out. Cleanliness, breath, cleanliness, transmutation of the blood and the bloodstream. Because if not, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Is this what it's all about? Going to the arcade, play a little laser tag, go hang out at the beach, play a couple video games, go to the club, go to the bar, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Is that what it's all about? Or is it about something greater? Are we capable of something greater? What does it mean to clean our blood? To be capable of generating perfectly clean offspring. Is that something worthy of effort? Worthy of changing your life to make that happen? Or you just want to go ice skate or go the new Grand Theft Auto's coming out soon. Getting ready for that. Is that what life's about? Go to the McDonald's playground, which you take your child to McDonald's playground. Is that what it's all about? Or are we leaving so much potential on the table? Could we be so much better than we are? Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm sure you have to go against the mainstream, go against what everybody says that you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to think. But as we say, there's nothing more revolutionary than learning to control what you put into your mouths, what you put into your body, what you allow to go into your mind, what you consume, body, mind, and spirit. Take responsibility for everything that you put in your body, for everything that's coming in to your temple. Take responsibility and then take action. Create the world within first. Is my advice, my friendly advice. Cultivate the world within, And by extension, you're going to create your paradise. There's just so much pain and suffering that's unnecessary, and there's so much we're capable of, so much more. This is the kind of thing I'm wanting to, let's make this happen. We humans come together and we build these great cities and these monuments and these big hospitals and cathedrals, and we make all this stuff that don't clean our blood, that don't transform who and what we are. What if we came together and really cleaned ourselves up, and we created a reality beyond disease and illness and the pain and the suffering? And people say, oh, that's not possible. The old philosophers say, oh, suffering is a mandate of being human, that life is suffering. But that's coming from a pus-based consciousness. That's coming from a mucus-eating level consciousness. Of course, from that perspective, you are 100% right. Life is suffering if that's where you're going to be. If you're going to be stuck in the pus world, in the mucus world, then suffering is going to be what it's all about. But what if you don't want that? What if you want something greater? And that's what I'm interested in. And I'm interested in connecting with others that want to make that a reality, have the shared vision to understand that this thing out here, somebody else built this in their image. All this stuff was planned, from the way the cities work and the corporations and the local government to the state to the federal governments or the kingdoms, or like wherever you're living and whatever you're doing. All these things were designed by people a long time ago. And we, in our book club, we talked a lot about the Plato's Republic and Aristotle's Politics, and how these were visions of what certain people wanted to build and to create a city of pigs, cities fit for pigs. And that was designed. It was designed like that. So what's to prevent us from designing the city of gods, the disease-free city, the disease-free island, arid island? What's to prevent that? That's what inspires me, drives me. Because for me, the mucus diet healing system was the ultimate. It's the only thing that I know of where I want the same thing for my loved ones that I want for my enemies. People that want to see me harm, I want them get into the mucus diet, because I know that's the only way for them to clean up their mental viewpoint and their understanding, to wake up. And of course, I want this for my loved ones, to remove as much suffering as possible and create the longevity. And there's we're up against a lot of brainwashing and programming, and the nutrition programming and medical. We just saw what happened these past 3 years. I can't even talk about it, of course. Over 50 great videos had to be deleted from this channel because of what happened over the past 3 years. And now it's all coming out that I was right. People like me were very right. But now now they're doing all the news stories and saying, oh yeah, those guys, that there was a problem and these guys had a point. But don't worry about that, because we got the new thing coming. Wah! Ooga booga. New stuff. Be scared. Nope. I choose to not live in that. I don't choose your own reality. I don't live in that reality. And so I'm not in that. I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm out of that. They can have fun with all that. They can go, do their macros and try to drink milk, convincing themselves that they're getting protein and calcium, and they can play them games. But like I said, we know exactly where those games lead to. The kind of pain and suffering that comes out of that. Is what says, would you like to swing on a star carry moonbeams home in a jar and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a pig? It's your choice. And people they do not, there's a whole other level of consciousness. When you start to understand, you eat like a animal, you become that animal like that. I won't even get into that. People ain't ready for that, but here it was. And I know a lot of people want the little island or the little small village, and we'll have that. You can do that, but there's a lot of people on this earth. So we got to create places that can house thousands and thousands of people, do so in a sustainable way. Like we said, a lot of people, this is what they think. When we talk about arid island, they think we're talking about this when we're actually talking about this, creating a whole different kind of situation with the sustainability. And all it takes is that little bit of consciousness, a little goal. And imagine, we're talking about the Immaculate Conception. Imagine raising a child in that type of environment where there is no pus around. There's no McDonald's billboards. There's no weird animal like chicken mascots that are promoting a chicken restaurant. Like that's not a part of the reality of the child. What kind of peace and tranquility could that being come up in? That's something to look forward to, something worthy of effort, worthy of work, putting in the work. What are you willing to do to create your paradise? Like I said, are you willing to do 6-month-long fast in preparation for conception? How clean are you willing to get? And I should say, when I talk like that, for people that have an obsessive type of personality, or if you don't have a whole lot of self-esteem or self-love or all that kind of stuff, then I need to make the disclaimer that I'm not telling you or suggesting that anybody need to go become obsessed with this I'm filthy, I need to get clean, I need to the point where you're doing numerous enemas and doing irrational fasting and so on and so forth. That's not the point. And if you've watched a lot of my content, that I'm constantly saying, don't be hard on yourself. For people with that kind of personality, don't beat yourself up. You don't feel guilty about what you did before you knew anything. You be gentle with yourself and you do what you need to do and move forward and practice the system. That's why we always take it back to just deal with the system. When you read the book, you don't have to believe all the philosophical points in there. I encourage you to take them in, but you don't have to totally buy into everything to be able to start the process of the practice of practicing the transition. And this is in the skip to the back of the book, the section, A Message for Eretists, where Erit says, peace on earth, happiness and righteousness as yet remain a foolish dream. During thousands of years, God, paradise, heaven, sin, devil, hell, seldom found an interpretation that a clear, reasoning mind would willingly accept. The average, unfortunate fellow man thinks of God as a good and forgiving father who will allow him to enter paradise in another world unpunished for any violation of his laws in nature. I have proven for the first time in history that the diet of paradise is not only possible, good enough for degenerate humankind, such as we now are, but that it is the unconditional necessity and the first step to real salvation and redemption from the misery of life. That it is a needed key to the lost paradise where disease, worry, and sorrow, hate, fight, and murder were unknown, and where there was no death, from unnatural causes, at least. We are what we eat is a philosopher's greatest and truest statement. We must now see why civilization, all religion, all philosophy, with their tremendous sacrifice of work, time, money, energy, is and has been part guesswork. The magic formula for heaven on earth of the paradise must read like this, quote, eat your way into paradise physically, but you cannot pass the gate watched over by the angel with the flaming sword until you have gone through purgatory, a cleansing fire, a fasting and diet of healing, a cleansing of physiological purifying by the flame of life in your own body. For thousands of years, no one has escaped the struggle of death caused by an unnatural life, and you will have to face it someday. But you, I, and others who have learned this greatest and most important truth of life are the only ones in existence today who are, in fact, and not by mind only, out of the road of darkness and unconscious suicide and into the light of the new civilization, the light of a physical regeneration, as the foundation of mental and spiritual revelation-like progress to the light of a superior, that is to say, a spiritual world. This book represents an outline of the serious nature of my work, and it also appeals to you for help in carrying it through as the greatest deed you can perform, upon which depends not only your future destiny, but that of a suffering, unhappy humankind on the verge of physical and mental collapse. The Prophet Arnold Ehret. I'm happy that we have, to me, this is good news. Man, over the years, there's so many times, and a lot of you can relate to this, you try to share this information with certain people or loved ones or friends, and they act as if this is horrible news, that you are, that this is just, that either way, it's either horrible and because you're leaving, you're getting out of the basket of the crabs, you're moving on into something better. And it's really bad news to them if what you're saying is right. If this is true and we really can transform ourselves on this level and return back to a semblance of a paradise, and that paradise doesn't include Captain Morgan's and Bud Light or whatever the heck people are, Hennessy or whatever it is people are into now, and weed. That's the vision. When you don't feel good in your body, that's the vision of paradise for people. To be able to drink like a fountain of Hennessy where you don't die and get sick, or you can eat as much dead animal as you want. What kind of heaven is that? That's hell, bro. Come on, people. Vision of heaven. I'm going to heaven, and a bunch of cooked turkeys everywhere and chickens, and that's heaven. What kind of distorted mess? You really got, when that's your vision of heaven and paradise, you might want to go back to the drawing board, or at least be a little introspective and ask a few questions like, why do I think that's heaven? Bunch of dead turkeys and fountains of Hennessy, cake, and I don't know. And some people are into the virgins, and so all kinds of virgins all over the place, ready to, what kind of, come on. That's a pus-based hell. That's a hellish imagination. But that's what you're going to imagine. That's the consciousness when you are dealing with the death culture, dealing with the anti-paradise. That's, like I was talking about earlier, vampires. I like to look at cultures, the mythology of, and the storytelling of different cultures. And I'm interested in immortal characters, wherever they're at, in different forms of mythology. They're in the Bible, they're in from Egypt or Greek or Roman, whatever. I like the Norse. I like all those different mythologies, and I like checking out the immortal characters and that kind of mentality. But of course, in death culture land, we have people are obsessed with death-based immortal characters. What's like when you look at just the myth of the vampire in the light of Mucus's diet healing system, you have white as snow being that can't stand the sun, so not capable of withstanding the angel of the sun, that drinks the blood of humans. But this is just good fun. This is dress up your little kid and put the white stuff. I dressed up as Dracula when I was growing up. But as sober adults that are trying to raise our consciousness up a little bit, I don't mean to take away everybody's fun. I'm not the fun. I don't mean to be that. I like to have fun. I'm having fun right now. But the question is, can we have fun in ways that focus on a generative form of immortality as opposed to this death-based Dracula kind of immortality? That's all I'm saying. We have to create that. We have to create our mythologies, the stories that are meaningful to us, the stories and the characters that are meaningful to us, that resonate with us, that tell our story. This is what resonates with the death culture people, which is fine. Like I said, that's great that you have you know who you are, that you have an identity. But for us, we have to create something that's a little better than this. But that's the kind of, I don't know, that fascinates me, that it's like literally a character that is the opposite of what we're trying to do. It's like you have this character with this white skin and just straight hair and that just can't stand the sun, that feasts on the blood. It's a parasite, feasts on the blood of other animals, that has to be killed a certain way, and it's hard to totally kill them. You decapitate them and put the stake through the heart and all that other stuff or whatever. There was I never posted it there. It was this part, I actually watched this thing with Nicolas Cage, and there was a part where he was saying something that was perfect, that just really showed that level of consciousness in a perfect way. And I was obsessed. See, I was one of them kids that I watched a lot of horror movies growing up. I was like that. I was that kid that when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, we go to Blockbuster Video for all of us elderly people that know what Blockbuster is. And we'd go there and I would just pick out all kinds of horror movies because, again, I wanted to expose myself to anything that if it was supposed to be scary or supposed to be disturbing, I would expose myself to it because a part of me wanted to be able to process. I wanted to be able to process everything, like whatever could be thrown at me. I wanted to have the ability to process it. And so I would watch all these different, and I'm watching these movies by myself at night with everything off. And I'm like, it wasn't like lights were on and there's people around. I'm by myself, 12 years old, 11, 12, 13, and I'm watching the scariest stuff that I can find and picking it apart and analyzing it that hasn't changed. I analyze everything, and that helped give me a perspective that I have now of being able to really, I know about it. It's not something that I was like some kids, if they grow up and they're sheltered from things like that, then they get hit with the real world when they get older, and they actually can't really handle it because they had parents that was like, we're going to keep you away from all the bad stuff. But then they get older and it's hard for them to sometimes deal with things in the real world. But in my case, like I was like, let's deal with all of it. I used to watch documentaries of just study genocide. And we're talking, I'm 11, 12 years old, and I'm getting books on from the slavery and the Holocaust and the millions of people dying in Russia after World War II or Soviet Union. Just like, I just was really immersed in the worst of humanity, because at that time I was developing my desire and my mission to find a solution for the suffering of humanity. Because as I looked into all these different religions and spiritual texts and philosophical texts and scientific studies, all these different avenues, I was not getting sufficient answers, satisfactory answers for why humans suffer and what you can do about it. And I studied it all, like as much as I could. That's all the different philosophers that are known for having something intelligent to say about human suffering or having some kind of perspective, and all the different major religions and religious concepts. And I went through all that stuff, and there'd be bits and pieces that, okay, that's interesting, or that makes sense. But there was nothing that really answered those questions until I read the Mucus Diet Healing System. And that changed everything. I was like, oh, okay. All right. This, in very simple terms, it outlines. Like I said, you don't have to agree or believe in everything that is in the book, but the fundamental argument of what humans eat being foundational to the condition of them, of humans individually and in general. It seems so simple when you say it, but most people aren't there. Most people, their nutritional concepts are at the level of, I want to lose some weight, I want to look good at the beach when we go to the gym. And then, because then you get that, because that's how you then, because of things like the fallacious calorie theory, now you got people that are, okay, calories in, calories out. I can eat a little bit worse if I'm willing to go work a little harder in the gym. Okay, eat this crap, but I'm gonna work out real hard later. Come on now. That's not conscious, but that's what you get at that level of consciousness. That's what you get. Let's see. Betty says, where's the book? So down below, let me grab the link to the book bundle, which is down below, but I will go ahead and post it. Give me a second here. But in the meantime, you can go to mucus-free-life.com. And okay. But yeah, if you go to mucus-free-life.com, make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. But in the meantime, I have a bundle of all of the books, and here is a link to that. This is definitely a great gift for yourself. The best gift. This the book bundle. We got Mucus's Diet, Spira Speaks, Rational Fasting, Physical Fitness, Thus Speaketh the Stomach, Definite Cure of Chronic Constipation, and Spira's Notes, all in the bundle. And right now, this is the cheapest the bundle is ever going to be, because sometime next year, I'm going to have to raise the price of the bundle. I haven't raised it since it's been at the current price point for almost like 10 years. And so I did my best to keep it as low as possible, but with inflation and the cost of everything going up, going to have to raise the prices a little bit. But for right now, this is a gift that you can give yourself that can really be the cornerstone of real transformation. A lot of people say that. A lot of people come on and talk about, oh, this will change your life and transfer and this kind of stuff. It's like this is a real transformation can happen going down this path if you're ready. If you're ready, then it can be unreal the kind of transformation that can happen. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yeah, of course. But to me, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is first and foremost, get ourselves cleaned up, trying to pursue physiological liberation. And that includes first, yes, you got to start with yourself, trying to clean yourself up. Then through that will come your offspring, and giving them not only the gift of life, but the gift of cleanliness. What else? What's a better gift that you could give to your offspring? This is just a beautiful thing. So I think we're gonna start to wrap it up, and I definitely appreciate all of you tuning in today. And there's some exciting things coming next year. As I already told you earlier, in the first week of January, going to have Brother Khalip on the podcast, and he's known him for many years, since 21 years since I got into the Mucus diet healing system. He'd been in it. I think he's either close to 30 years or over 30 years of practicing the Mucus diet. He's in that realm. And so he's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom on this path. And so I'm excited about talking with him on the first Friday in January. Then a week after that, we're going to be talking to Sister Takora, who has also been on Mucus diet healing system for very long and has raised children and helped raise a lot of other people and expose a whole lot of people to mucus-free living and this level of consciousness. So we're going to talk with her. And then we have a lot of other great things in store for you as we move into 2024, growing the community, taking things to the next level. Because as Brother Air says, things can't remain this filthy. Things are not gonna just remain as it is. But this is, I see Brady, we haven't updated, so I won't share that. I was going to show everybody just a sneak peek at Mucus-free Social. Just like a real quick little sneak peek. So this is like Facebook for healthy, aspiring to be healthy people. Mucus-free Social. We got a lot of stuff. I'm not going to share too much of any kind of private discussion or anything going on. This is just the introduce yourself section, but you can look forward to the opportunities for more people to join. Because right now, a lot of the folks on here have been in the coaching program and the e-course, but we're going to have some opportunities coming up in the future for a lot more people to join. But it's definitely nice for us to have our own place to talk about Mucus' diet. Don't have to worry about somebody taking down our content. But so we will share a lot of that with you coming up. And yeah, Brady says, Angel of Lemon Water time indeed. I'm looking forward to this. As like I said, it's been a good day of fasting for me. And yeah, I'm ready to, I always like to take these times as I can feel, it's like I can feel some of that energy in the air. Those holidays with all the gluttony, you can, when you get real clear, you can feel those energies. Like even if you're not around it, just in different ways you feel. But for me, the fasting has always been the best way to just like counteract all of that, those energies, all that kind of, if you want to say negative or whatever that is, just that uncleanliness, counteract that, focus on the enemas, focus on the cleansing and contemplation, reflecting on the past, envisioning the future, getting centered, getting grounded. That's what it's about to me. And in that fasting process to really to do that, because that's a whole other discussion, the art of fasting. And we just finished in the book club, we just finished the rational fasting, going through that, and we got into some pretty heavy stuff. But yeah, Brady, he's been doing a whole lot of work with the mucus-free community behind the scenes, community, the specialist, the manager now, the community development manager. He said 2024 is going to be great. The community is going to transform, and I hope everybody watching is ready. Very well said. Very well said. Yeah, again, thank you all so much. Tell a friend to tell a friend that mucus-free is the way to be. Clean yourself up. Make a path for your future family, for your future children, for your current children, for your parents, for your grandparents. Let your actions and your transformation and your cleansing positively affect everybody around you and everybody that you come into contact with. That vibration can be felt. And even if people don't know what it is and they meet you and they just, something's different, they don't know what it is. And you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to tell them unless you want to, but that vibration and that feeling, it changes things. And it's one of the ways that you change the world, change the people around you, change your community. And you start by controlling what you put in your body, controlling what you remove, removing that which you do not need out of your body, and learning to feel good in your body, to really feel good without the stimulant, without, I haven't eaten anything today and I feel great. I feel really good in my body. I didn't need coffee. I didn't need pork tenderloin, or I didn't need any of that. I didn't need Coke and Mountain Dew and Red Bull and weed, cigarettes and tea and herbs. I didn't need none of that. I feel good in my body. And I encourage everybody to strive for that, to feel good in your body without the stimulation. And when you can get to that, then you're opened up a whole new reality, a whole new vista. So until next time, peace, love, and breath.
We are mucus-free. 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 Thank you.